Hi Internet, it's Olaf. So we're here today to talk about Angel, my second favorite female in all of King of Fighters, and my favorite character that's currently in 14. Basically all relying on Mary ain't here. So, we're going to talk about everything that it takes to make Angel work in your hands. She is the most complicated character in all of KOF 14, arguably the most complicated character in all King of Fighters in general. She's nuts. She requires ridiculous execution and presence of mind to make her work, especially because, let's face it, her buttons overall are not that good. So you have to play her really smart and efficiently to get anything done. So we've already got all our options set up. We got all the meter and no stuns and whatever. So let's just get right into it. We're going to go straight from buttons to command normals to all sorts of crazy stuff. So let's go first and foremost, jab. Close light punch, her mash one, it's pretty good. Far jab, pretty strong. Close light kick, it's really quick little normal. Far light kick is actually an incredibly decent poke. However, it can whiff on crouching. You know, let's just set up crouching opponent. Yeah, it does. Yeah, see, it's really finicky. So that's something to be aware of, is that Angel has a lot of those problems where, like, the opponent's crouching shit don't work right. Stand C, really good reliable button, and it's got that whole thing where its proximity for close is actually a decent distance, so it lets you get away with certain things that you have a harder time with her better, more damaging one overall, which is close D. Close D is actually a faster normal, but its proximity is way worse. Like we do about here, that's going to be far, the same distance, get close fierce, or close C, whatever you want to call it. There's too many button names. From there, you know, you can get all your combos and everything. The fact is that, as the general rule for this game is, C does less damage because it's more reliable. But close D is faster and more damaging, so if you're on point, you can do it. If not, you're going to whiff like that. Crouching normals. Crouching jab. Pretty good, really mashable. Crouching B, light kick. Really good, really mashable, and you can chain all sorts of little jabs and all sorts of cool stuff, and you can actually do some of those cancels too. They're handy. I'm going to skip crouching C for a moment because it's got a lot of weird stuff going on. So crouch D, her sweep. It's pretty good. It's a little stubby for sweeps, but it's also decently fast, so it's usable. I tend to use it in a fair amount because she has a lot of like dumb frame traps on like trip guard, stuff like that. So crouching C, her little launcher. I don't know. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's really cool for combo videos and, you know, fancy stuff, and it is a good anti-air, but you know, we're gonna start in the corner, it'll be easier. So the thing is, as a launcher and whatever, it's fancy. It does things, you know, I'm actually going to save myself some trouble here. I'm going to record that thing jumping. Okay, so, crouch C, you can launch and you can cancel off it, and everyone's happy, right? The problem is that if you catch them at the tip with the crouch fierce, it's not cancelable. You can't do anything with it. So you actually, there's like a sweet spot you want to catch them out if you anti-air, where you can still do things. It's a huge nightmare of a problem. The other thing to note is that under no circumstance will crouching C juggle. Like, you can anti-air with it, but if you, for any reason, have a knockdown, even if it's a counter hit CD, you cannot juggle off of it, no matter what. Every other button, everything else works. Well, that doesn't, because that has no jump potential either. But everything else in the entire freaking like thing will work. Crouch fierce will still whip every time. So don't even try it. You have to rely on all your other fancy stuff because you're Angel. Stand CD. It's pretty good. It's one of her actual like farthest reaching normals, and it's because you're Angel, you can do all sorts of cool stuff with it. The most reliable stuff is to actually use that move, which I'll get into later, because it has really fast recovery to let you catch up to people. So you just do dupe, not that one. food, and etc. So it's a good way to catch up to people. Her jump lights, they're good air-to-airs because they're fast. Jump B is actually a really good air-to-air because it just gets in there. Jump D is her good standard issue jump in. Just, jump in on things. It's a really good overall jump in normal. Jumping C is fascinating in the fact that it doesn't hit from the front. Well, it's a great cross-up. Which, even then, you still gotta get used to it, but whatever. Yep. Anyways, yeah, it only crosses up. That covers the normal, right? That's it? Yeah, because she doesn't have any variation between vertical jumps and all that stuff. So, now she has two command normals. She has forward light kick, 4 feet, which is a great 2-hit normal, fully cancelable. You do all sorts of cool stuff with it. And, because command normal, you can do stuff off of it. Yay! There's not much to say about that move, really. Her other command normal is jumping down hard kick. Now, in and of itself, whatever. It's an okay normal. It's pretty decent jump in, whatever. You might as well just use far hard kick unless you're trying to trade with people because it's fast. Or, air to air. But we're lucky enough that this move works on backdash. And let's compare her backdash to backdash with 2D. That's some backdashes, and here's backdash walk. You can see like a little bit of stutter recovery. Nothing. Immediately cancels all that recovery into just what the recovery of 2D is, which is like nothing. So, yeah, worth using, especially like when you really want to get away from someone, start building meter. It is super handy. It's something that you should incorporate. Which kind of goes into the overarching theme of Angel, where you're going to be doing stuff at all times. You're like a full Marvel team. You are going to be hitting buttons and you're going to be moving. If you're standing still and blocking, you've probably already screwed up. You have to be everywhere. If you're not fighting somebody, you're building meter. If you're not building meter, you're jumping around anti-airing and all this crazy nonsense. You're going to sound like you're having a seizure on this arcade stick. You just have to accept that as part of playing Angel. Anyways, moving on. So moving on, we are now going to do her special moves. If you look at her command list, which I'm going to for the sake of visual aids, first move is Red Sky. Red Sky is that move I already talked about. You run, you grab them. No, it's not a throw, you can totally block it, whatever. But the good news about this move is that it juggles. So it is a meterless combo finisher that even works off of, like, her launcher. You get that raw, and you don't have meter, you don't want to spend meter, you wrap it up with that. It is convenient. There's not really a functional difference between the light and heavy versions. They both do 80 damage. They both all have the same juggle potential as far as I've been able to find. Doesn't really matter. But her EX version, first off, it does 100 damage. That's awesome. Secondly, it's faster. Third, it's projectile invincible, so you can use it to tear through people's fireballs. This works against everything from like Iori's little fireball to a Raging Storm. It just doesn't care. So if you have someone who's trying to chuck stuff at you too much and you need to deal damage and they're just running away chucking fireballs, pop max mode and be like, oh really? Yoink, and they're dead. So yeah, I've literally used that just to win some matches before. It will come in handy, keep it in mind, because her mobility, while it's good, is really tricky, and there are some characters who don't care. Like Kukri chucking sand is obnoxious. Just, you're gonna have to deal with it. Whatever. Anyways, so next move, Mad Murder. This is her command grab. You know, let's start this in the corner, it's a little easier. Actually, no, I take it back. So this is a command grab. You can do stuff off it, it's a little finicky, and more to a point is that there is only one thing I found that combos into it, which is the forward light kick raw into it. You can't do that. So, what do we do to solve this? Why would we ever use it? The the EX version is amazing. The EX version combos way more reliably off of everything, and it recovers faster, so you can actually give chase. So, regular one, couldn't even do that. Nope, missed it. EX1, I have enough time to run forward to get that, which I promise you. You can't do that with the normal one. So the EX1 has better recovery and combos more reliably. That's why you can do that for big old damage. So yeah, I honestly am a firm believer it's the biggest reason to use Quick Max for her, is to get into that, because you can do really good combos with it anywhere. But that's about the sum of it. So moving on, we get to her Unchains. The thing about her Unchained combos is that there are a lot of rules and special properties that she has for all of her Unchained set that are not talked about in the command list and are not even thoroughly described well enough. I mean, there's so much going on. They did a little better by saying special here, but there's stuff that's not even really listed in her command moves of things that's possible, and it really... You either have to do a lot of research or be watching a video like this one to catch the full depth of everything that's going on and all the rules to these moves. So we're going to just cover the Unchained starts, then Unchained circles, and then I'm going to start really delving into the rules. And I may have to just draw a diagram later to properly explain this crap and put it on Twitter. It's ridiculous. So, we have our 5 basic starters. I believe it's 5. 3B. This is a low, and when you follow up of it, you can do all sorts of dumb mix-ups. It's really cool. Whatever. You have 3D, which is an overhead, which again, you can do your little mix-up and blah, 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 blah. And yes, that totally works. I'm a liar, apparently. It's out of range. I think that's like the first time I've ever seen something that do a full combo, but was out of range for that grab. Oh, there we go. Cool. Whatever. So, those are those 2. You have Unchained Blow, which is a little ground pound. This is a really good starter in general because it knocks the opponent up, so it's the only thing that you can reliably go into, like, the forward kick and do whatever you want. It's kind of nice. It's the only starter that actually makes them leave the ground. Other than that, it's actually a little bit better in anti-air than it looks like. The hitbox is a bit taller than you think it is, which would explain the fact that it has no juggle potential whatsoever, which is an absolute shame, you ask me. But it's okay because you can whip it, which I'll get more into whipping later too. Then we have my personal favorite overall, back forward kick. This move is a really consistent starter in like all sorts of combos and stuff. Bad news, first hit whiffs on crouching if you do it wrong, so you can get jabbed out of it. So you actually have to combo into it to make the rest of it work. Good news though, you can do it off of like crouching jab. So whatever. It also does juggle, so it's actually really like convenient. So you do, and works every time. But whatever. It only juggles once. Again, more juggle potential bullcrap later. Last starter is her run, half circle forward kick. This move is obnoxious. It is one of the hardest things about playing Angel is implementing this thing right. So what it does, you start a run, and at any point during the run, you can press one of your follow-up moves. However, normally it has a minimum run distance. So if I'm just gonna, I can just half circle forward mash, that's how long it takes for it to come out. You didn't mash hard enough, it didn't even come out. Look at that. Now, if she meets the opponent at any point during the run before you've done a follow-up, or more accurately, before you even hit the minimum distance, she'll teleport behind them. Which gives you a lot of cool mix-ups. You can do stuff like, like that. Except that up whiffs, but whatever. The difference is now, actually I should make this more reliable, show the minimum distance. Because you're in the corner, she wants to teleport cross through. You can't cross up in corners in KOF, and you get nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing. You cannot use this move in the corner. This is where the EX one comes in play. It has no minimum run distance. The moment you have started running, you can do a move. This also means then, in the corner you can use it freely, which is actually how you can increase damage on a few combos. It's amazing, and it's actually how there's a video of a Japanese player who goes into EX mode and does run up kick, and he does it like in the course of like 10 frames. Like he just kick, 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 and burns through all of his bar, and it is ridiculous. Because you can actually cancel a whiff into the run, which I'll get more into later because she's complicated. So that covers all of the starters. So now we go into Unchained Circle. It's called Unchained Circle because whatever move you do, you have to start a circular motion from there. So rule 1, you cannot do the same direction twice in a row. You also cannot do the previous direction. So say you start it up, you have to go either right or down. Now say you went up, down. You can only go right from there. Only. So you must actually start drawing a circle with your directions. The other thing is you cannot use punch into punch or kick into kick. It has to alternate punch, kick, punch, kick. So we're going to draw a little diagram here with the screen. So we're going to do stomp, up, punch. So that means I can either go into down kick or forward kick. And that's it. Those are my options. So I can do like that. Well then, since I went from up punch to forward kick, my next move, only as far as the circle is concerned, can be down punch. Which I managed to screw up anyway. There we go. Up punch, forward kick, down punch. Now, if I want to keep going, I actually can. Because then I have to go from down punch to up kick. Because I have to maintain the circle, and I still have to alternate punch, kick, punch, kick. This is the reason why like some of her combos are limited, is because you're forced into certain decisions, but that's how you start breaking them, is because there's other rules that kind of circumvent this. But enough about that. That's the start basics of how her rules work. Again, opposingly, we could do up punch into down kick into forward punch, which then again leads us back to up kick. Also, bear in mind, all of them have slightly different timings, so it's just something you're going to have to get used to. Yeah, that was every move in one circle, and it was up, down, right, up, down, right. See if I can do it again. Oh, no. There we go. And technically I should be able to do up punch again after that. Nope, I screwed it up. Maybe not. They might have actually not let you do that. Yeah, you can't do the full circle looped anymore. That's interesting. But whatever, it's not important. I learned something today. So, now if you look at the command list, it goes from Unchained Circle, all the basics that are basically command normals, and then it goes into Unchained Special, whatever, Special Unchained Circle. All these are dodges. So, say I do that back in both lights, neutral both lights, forward both lights. They have some invincibility frames. They might functionally just be like a roll, but you can totally use it to dodge through stuff. The other purpose of this is so you can alter your timing. Because like if I do exactly that up punch finisher whips. So you can actually throw in the dodge, and now you've got them at max height, you can do whatever you want. So, let's go back to the circle real quick. Let's talk about each move individually and why any of this actually matters. So we're going to start with this by using blow because it makes things really easy to describe certain things. So, blow, up punch. Up punch is a reliable like pop-up launcher, has pretty good recovery, and knocks them up really high. So it's convenient. It does have juggle potential, but in the middle of any juggle combo, it can only be used once. Like, I can totally do like that, but then... See, that's one juggle. But if I do... Oops. Say I do this. Let's see if I can do this without messing myself up. You want to go up punch. This up punch whips, because that's attempting 2 juggles. That rule applies to all of her juggle moves except forward kick, and up kick has a special rule on top of it. But yeah, you can do this, and then that'll work, whatever. But you cannot use more than one up punch at all, which is one of the things they actually did to prevent infinites that she used to have. She used to be able to loop that, it was dumb. Next up is up kick. Up kick's really good. It doesn't knock them as high and doesn't recover as fast, but it comes out very quickly, and it does more damage. It's actually the most damaging one. So like up punch is 35, up kick is 40. And the only thing that matters is you use that early on so you circumvent some of the damage scaling. But whatever. So now you know that works. It's cool. Forward kick. This is like her go-to because you can do it like, the most I've managed is 4 times in the same combo. It just works every time because it's harder to use overall. If you don't have another follow-up for it, then it gets real limited real quickly. Additionally, that's like the only thing you can do off of getting it grounded. That whips. That whips. You can't do anything. So you have to actually... Yeah, like that didn't even combo. So the only thing you can do with it on a grounded opponent is that grab. That or you do something else and you drop your combo intentionally. Like where you start the run. So cool. Next up, forward punch. This thing is typically, it's an overhead. So on grounded opponents, it's an overhead that's super cool, has all sorts of utility. On an airborne opponent, it knocks them down. It's a hard knockdown, too. You can tell because I have recovery on it, I promise. Hard knockdown. So it gives you, you know, reset opportunities, momentum shifts, whatever. Typically, you don't want to use it because you have better ways to deal damage. Down kick. It's a good approach, it's a good low, cannot juggle. So the down kick whiffs no matter what on any juggle. Can't do anything about it. Same thing applies for down punch. It's another good low, really quick, you can combo off it, blah 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 blah. But in a juggle, it'll miss no matter what. Every time. So this is something you have to cope with. It covers all those special properties. So, what they don't tell you is that run actually falls under the Unchained specials. You can go from any Unchained circle back into run. You cancel in canceling the pseudo-normal into with the special run. From there, because it's a run start, you can cancel into any Unchained circle. But now it has like a rule applied to it that you can't use another circle off of it. You cannot do run, up punch, down kick after like you use a special run. It's really hard to kind of describe, so I'll just do it this way. So normally I can go down kick, up punch, right? So, see, actually, you know what? I take it back. Let's do this in a better scenario. That's done. Okay. See how I just used a bunch of down kicks because of the way I had the run in between? But now, let's do no follow-up. So you can, once you have started a run as a follow-up, you can only go run into Unchained circle, into run, into one circle, into run, whatever. From there you go into finisher. It's kind of like a 4th phase of her combos. Similar thing applies to her Unchained circle dodge. When you do a dodge, you can't do any circles after. You can't. But you can actually go from the dodge, which you've already seen, into a finisher. The same thing applies for this. You can go into a finisher. So those are your options. Actually, I want to check something. Yep, you cannot even do run into finisher. Run must go into a circle. But whatever. Yeah, and as I thought, you can't even do. Okay, so if you dodge into run, it actually counts as a raw run. I guess because there's no physical way to combo that. Which I am inclined to not believe too. There's probably some weird janky stuff I can figure out. So we'll see. I'm going to apply that later and see if there's any more testing to be done. But that's not important right now. The important thing is we get back to the command list and we talk about the finishers. 5 basic finishers. And this is again not counting supers because you can super cancel for free and that's how you finish some of these anyway. But, so first off we have pretty much the bread and butter of what you can do. Forward light punch. This is your launcher and it does work for you. Actually let's do a little test. Dodge, 50 damage raw. So it hits pretty hard and whenever you do it, it gives you a pretty free juggle opportunity. Next up, you have forward hard punch. This move is unblockable. Does 65 damage and it's unblockable. Granted, the opponent's mashing jab or something, you can get hit out of it, but if they're not, they're gonna take the wall up and you're gonna laugh at them. Downside, it's not super cancelable and has abysmal recovery. Upside, if you manage to hit your opponent high enough, like we're talking combo video bullcrap, or you get a trade on that forward hard punch, you can actually combo out of it. I'm going to see if I can get it to occur and edit it into the video later so you can see some of the nonsense. It's really cool, but not important right now. Third finisher, forward kick, a 3-hit overhead, hard knockdown. I believe it's hard. Yeah, donk. Really, it's more there for mix-ups. If you have someone who's like turtling up and really scared, but knows to mash jab sometimes, you're like, all right, you know what, fine. Additionally, this is capable of juggling knockdown, but kind of a waste of damage. But you know, just so you know, it works. Next up, the one that got really improved for this game, the down to forward hard punch command grab. It helps wrap up all your combos really nicely. Well, standing combos anyway. It works off of everything, including that, which is like unheard of. And it combos. If you do it a little late, then it'll whiff and you'll look like an idiot and you'll get punished, but if you get it down, it's reliable. It always works on grounded opponents. Lastly, the one I used to abuse in 02, down to forward light punch. It's a pretty good move, but the problem is that now they made it so it whiffs on crouching. Yep, you can't even force stand with it or anything. So it got kinda nerfed as they made that one better. We just have to accept it. Honestly, I don't see it getting used for much in this game, other than, as far as I know, everyone in the game counts as standing when they throw a fireball, and you can kind of get over fireballs with it sometimes, mostly on prediction, and make them look dumb. That's really about the gist of how all that works. Yeah, so that's where we're at. So next up, we have the obvious thing that deals all the damage. Supers! Now, one thing is, Angel's super commands are kind of dumb. It's one of the leftovers from like the 2001 era where they started doing all sorts of weird, bizarre stuff. So it's back into a Dragon Punch. So back, forward, dragon punch into a move. Now, you're going to find yourself often getting some of these moves by accident because of all of her commands being so nuts. Like, I've had to like run forward, go back, jump forward, do a fireball. Next thing I know, I did that, and I blew a bar, and I was really upset. Because you're everywhere, doing everything on your stick, there's a good chance you're going to get some missed inputs. But once you really like build up towards everything you're trying to do, you're going to get used to it, and you're just going to be able to throw this out like nothing. So, basics of it are, it's just, I'm going to run at you, and if I hit you, I'm going to do a lot of damage. Whoop-de-doo. Boop. And the level 2, go nuts, blah, 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 blah. In the corner, she does not cross them up. Outside the corner, she actually will teleport through them for the follow-up. So if you have spacing concerns, you know, just bear that in mind that that's going to happen. But in the corner, you just fucking go nuts. Downside, these supers have jack shit for invincibility. If someone's just throwing out jabs, you're going to get hit. Someone throws a fireball, you're going to run into it. You're going to feel bad, you're going to have a bad time. You typically don't use the super outside of a combo, or sometimes actually I've gotten away with using it as an anti-air. Someone jumps at me, I'm like, you know what, screw it, let's go. Oh hey, cool, caught. It's got good priority, but no invincibility. Next up, oh yeah, actually, and the obvious, it works as a juggle. It always connects. I've never whiffed it. It will not whiff. So next up is her counter super. Now, we can tell you the obvious thing, it's a freaking counter. I should probably give myself a little bit more recording time. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll stop being stupid. Perfect. The level 1. And the level 2. Which I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, I'm not close enough. Look at that pose. Dropping the elbow. There used to be variations for if they got a ground hit or an air hit. There's not anymore. If they hit you, you counter, you profit. Whatever. Downside to this super, though, is that you cannot climax cancel. It will not happen. And you're just gonna do that, you mash too hard, and you're gonna whiff. Whatever. Climax. Down and forward kicks. It's real easy. Donk. 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 This move does not care. It's a pretty good move. I like it a lot. It's an overhead. I like that. Downside is that if you're way too point blank, it can whiff. Another downside is that in very specific situations, like just the tip, you actually will not get the combo. There are very specific situations because for some reason they decided this move needed to have like 2 hits on the startup. It has 2 hitboxes. One is a grab and one is just like a normal hit. And if you hit just wrong, you'll actually hit the wrong hitbox. You'll only get the hit, nothing will happen. It sucks. It's uncommon, but it exists. So just a fair warning on that. As far as climax cancel, she can do it off of level 1 or level 2. Level 1, she actually is allowed to have max damage. You do it off the very last hit, and that's nice. Like, she doesn't actually lose that much damage for 4-bar combos over 5. It's notable, but it's not like absurd like some poor characters have to deal with. Then the level 2, you do it on the second to last hit, which is her unblockable punch. And I'm sure most of you have messed around with Angel enough to already know this, but not everyone maybe has. So yeah, just general rules of dealing with Angel and her nonsense. So yeah, supers are cool, and supers and overhead. I like that. So let's get to talk a little bit more about everything in Angel's combos and everything she has to do and deal with by being Angel. One of the things is distinct situational awareness. For instance, point blank, that works. Super cool, right? Try it off and confirm. which I confirmed first. Totally whips. There's a huge issue with knowing what you can get away with at any given time in any given position. Sometimes you're gonna have someone jump in, you're gonna get a hit, and you're like, oh cool, follow it up, and you're just gonna drop your combo, no matter what. There are situations that you need to be aware of with just knowing what confirms into what. For instance, actually, this is one of my favorites. Totally misses. You have to cancel off the first hit. And even if you do it wrong, you still have to be worried about the fact that... See, look at that. The forward light kick actually shifts you a little forward, kind of like a Kara. But if you let the second hit, you're just going to win. You do that, you're going to win. It has to be like this. Same thing applies even with her EX command grab. See, I showed you that works? That works. Everything is situational, and the only way to optimally play Angel is to be prepared for every given situation. Like, there's combos she has where she can just do, like, all sorts of banana stuff. Just knowing what you can get away with in any given situation will take you everywhere. If you don't know what you can do when, you're probably going to drop combos and you're going to lose potential damage, and sometimes that can cost you. When you have a full combo and you drop like one hit because they were a pixel off, and then you don't get a super, and then the opponent has another chance to hit you. But you can gimmick out a lot of things. Doesn't even catch raw. It's classy. The other thing is, though, is that one thing I didn't talk about earlier for obvious reasons, I hope. EX Flow. Causes crumple stun. You can do whatever you want. Gotta pay attention, but you can do whatever you want. And on block. That's the best news ever. And people have been really working hard to build, like, reset combos and just make them do whatever you can do. If you get that guard crush, you should just be able to win the match at that point. I'm looking for one hit. So, let's just say, for instance, let's pretend I have meter. Let's pretend I have a good execution, apparently, too. One frame off, apparently. Whatever, you reset them. You need to be able to kill. So, I wonder. Let's test something, shall we? Test my patience. Wow, that didn't work. But whatever. We're just gonna do this little combo. We're gonna assume that worked. See? Even off that setup, you can't do, like, the best combo. So, more situations, more problems. Something like that. So, the other point was, so you have all these cool moves that do all these cool juggles. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. All of them, except for this one, can hit only once. Additionally, this move can only be used once. For some weird reason, I don't know why, if you use that move, up kick will not work. You have to use up kick before you do. There is no condition where this is okay. See, you can make that work. And then I derp, but whatever. Just so you know, you cannot use up kick. Next thing to note, little bits and tidbits and all that stuff. You can whiff any of your moves and can still cancel them for the sake of the chain. However, note that it is on the first active frame, with the exception of that. That's like the only one. Everything else, you have to be active at least one frame. So yeah, you can whip this all day, that's cool. But everything else has to be active for one turn. The same thing occurs with CD cancels. You can cancel, like, you can full-blown Kara CD. Doesn't matter what you do, it's gonna be on the first active turn. You can actually see her fist come out for a split second there. Let's see if I can catch it. Nope, it's really fast, but you can actually see the fist come out for a split second. That frame is active. You just have to accept it. Beyond that, it's just going to be a lot of testing and a lot of video watching to find your optimized combos. The current record is what I have with the 791 without cheating with counter hits and whatever. And it actually uses this, and then you whip the blow into the up kick. And then you whip down punch into a forward kick. So you get basically all the optimized moves at the optimized times. So, we'll see if there's more to be discovered. Hopefully there is, because this character is bananas. But that's more or less a rundown of the character. I'm going to see if I can record the counter hit unblockable, just so you get some ideas. And yeah, until next time. Kablam!